into this exhibition, the aim was to relativize the role of the designer, because I think the stereotype role of the designer is to give solution into things. So finally, this solution is the representation of the ideal vision of this designer, which is maybe not the one of the people who would use it.
In my project, I made a series of vases which are called ashes, and I wanted to, I think maybe I have this against approach, this idealism, just pure idealism, because I wanted to express or find a way to express like in an object like the vase, this life process we have. So it's going from something which is growing, becoming beautiful, and like being perfect for a certain stage to a phase where it's in decay and the end will die. And I wanted to express this in the life cycle basically through the vases. So mainly showing that, like when you buy flowers, you dedicate them to death, but you never think about it in that way. But at the same time, it's a fact. Like you cut them off and they will die. And I wanted to express this life and death in the object where you actually put it inside the flowers.
How objects influence our environment, and how, even if they are pointless, how could they have an influence on ourselves, and how could they be part and actor of people's evolution. Then I thought this pot and the filter coffee machine was for me really the symbol of the object that are somehow pointless, and you don't take care of it anymore because you're just using it automatically. The morning when you wake up, you just do it automatically, and you don't think about it anymore. Using ceramics, it involves many criteria and many things that are really variable, like that could be that has to be really precise if you want to get the exact result, the same result every time. And to finish, I also, through the process of making this pod series, I did a certain method that leads the series to that leads this pod to influence the other. Like the first one, according to the way I'm doing, the first one would influence the second one, which influence the third one, the fourth one, and so on.
There's a clue in every object to show you how you use it. So I'm thinking to express this in a more extreme way. So I make both objects, the mirror and the table. The table is with a lamp, and the way you use it is you need to turn a plate like this, then you activate the whole thing. And I think this is an abnormal way of using an object, and you can say it is not convenient. But I think that if all our object is made in this way, so people will never be, if people are really used to this way to use something, then they will never find out a new way or a new their own way of using certain object. So by giving this extreme condition, then to have an impact on their previous experience of an object.
I think cosmetic surgery is one controlling way to make our body to do this ideal image. So that is the acting to reach this idealism. I took 20 photos of my face and then modifying the photos and giving the example. Okay, you stitch your eyes or you stitch your lips. What is meaning? So when people see my modification of my photos, people can imagine maybe how it's how the pain relates or how it looks very scary in a way. Also, I'm designing this tool. There are other people's noses made by latex. The people can wear other people's noses to their face and then see how they look differently. So I want to also question it, when you wear other people's nose, is that really like you want to achieve it? Because in Korea, people just go tell I want to get sharp nose or I want to get higher nose, but they never imagine it actually how they can be changed. So yeah, so both of my projects is kind of a tool of question what is the meaning of your body modification.
In my research in DNA testing, I found that people are more interested in the information that DNA can provide. Do you want this information? And once you have it, what powers do you have? There are two parts. One is this blanket, which is called First Gift, and the other half is a lottery where you can win a DNA test, a real DNA test. So in the first half, I have this blanket, which is woven according to the data taken from one person's DNA, if it was compared to their parents. So it's real DNA, it's a real person's DNA. There's 4 or 5 colors on here. The purple is shared DNA with the parents, the blue is half shared with the parents, the red is the mother, the blue is the father, and there's little yellow specks which are anomalies. I guess, yeah, that this half looks at the possibility of people choosing the genes of their children, which is increasingly being it's not legally possible, but it is in some ways being negotiated. Child, and from that, because now these DNA tests are much more available to people, I decided to put it in front of people because I think it's really interesting to look at the pros. So people coming to the exhibition can give me a hair and a little a note to say their name and address and a few other questions in one of these test tubes. And at the end of the week, I'm going to draw out 2 of these and give away these DNA testing kits, which can be sent to a commercial company, and people can find out their DNA. There's a genetic scientist. His name's Manuel Corpus. He's from the UK, and he is interested in the sharing of genetic data and what that can bring for us. But he's also, as part of his work, he's interested in how as the knowledge of being able to decode your DNA becomes more mainstream, how do also our values change according to how we judge people, or how DNA forms a new part in our life as a new technology.
I'm presenting sex toys which are inspired by candies, and why I'm doing this is because, like, first of all, like, sex is the most intense sensual experience humans can have, and then comes eating. And I thought, okay, let's try to combine both. What I also want to do, I want to, like, also visually, like, provoke a taste, or like that you combine an object with something you know already.
The piece, it's a wardrobe, and like a stereotypical wardrobe it's a box, it's a closed box, and I think it's really terrible. I mean, it's looking ugly personally to me, and then in the space it's taking a lot of space. Why not make it like somehow more open? Then I always thought that it's much more interesting what's actually put inside that thing. So I think the content is quite interesting. That showed that. By that I understood, because the content is always constantly consumed, so it will be changing all the time. So we have like this kind of dynamic image, and making like the aesthetics of the piece constantly changing.
So it's a lamp. It's just based on a big rock that I found in a mine. It's a stone, alba stone. Okay, so it has veins, and it's really raw. On the side, it has cracks. So it has a really natural aspect. And what I've done is using the color of the rock, the white color, as a reflector for lamp, by just carving a little bit the stone to give a contrast between the rawness of the stone and the smoothness of the design intervention on it. So basically the lamp is like this, and so we have a source light here, LED light, that directly strike the stone and it makes the reflection, basically. So it kind of sublimate the beauty of the material and use also the property of it. My own idealism is I'm researching for perfect sensual experience. I think we perceive our environment with our senses, and if we can create objects which touch all our senses, if we are able as designers to really control all our sensual experience with this object in front of us, I think then that's the ideal project if you can reach.
My aim is to create something that makes people want to look at it.
Yeah, I would like that matter obey to my mind. I would like matter be flexible. But also, in another hand, I want to be influenced by matter. I want to combine its own quality with my own sensibility and my own vision.
I'm very young and it's still, I think, in a process of final definition, what a mind is and how I see myself in design. But more or less what I'm interested, it's, I like to say that I am a materialist. And for me, design is an object. And that, I think you always step up to new ways, new meanings, and what a design is. It's not that I'm trying to define it, but I'm looking, what does it say personally to me, as a person who is actually aware of it from, again, different aspects, as a designer, as a professional of this field.
The way people interact with each other is for me really interesting, and I really like to really wish and aim to bring more somehow consciousness and also creating new opportunities for the people to question themselves about how do they relate with the other.
For me, I think my ideal scenario is to create like meaningful objects where people can identify with and which make them think or relate to it. So not that they just have a pure aesthetic function, but also like a way of view on the world which you can relate to.
I think it's important to have a critical practice which acknowledges the role of someone who produces cultural content for an audience to create a critical audience where people look at it and they go, well, hang on a second. I think that moment of indecision or challenge when it is handed over to the audience or the user or whatever is really interesting.
Idealism is not about just existing somewhere, like people try to achieving it. So as a designer, I want to also question about that we always try to making better shape, better design, and as a cosmetic surgery, we try to make a better body, better look, but is that really stay forever? Maybe as a designer, I want to tell it's maybe not forever.